It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interview. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, answer. Yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on in. It's the Full Court Press. I'm Eric Frandsen. He's Jason Walker. Love to have you along for the ride wherever you may be listening, whether that's over the air on 106.9 FM or on the AM 1390. Also streaming it on 1069thefan.com or the 1069 The Fan mobile app, or on your convenience with our podcasts, where the previous hour has been posted. And find other bonus audio there, previous episodes that we've done, or wherever you subscribe to podcasts. And a lot of fun last hour recapping a very dominant win for Utah State football on both offense and defense over Nevada. Brevin Hamblin being recognized as the Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Week. But it was also a great weekend for Utah State women's soccer. And we heard from Coach Manny Martins. We now know Utah State women's soccer is headed to the NCAA tournament, and unfortunately, they have to go through BYU once again in order to get to the next round.
Yeah, and BYU's on a roll. They won the Big 12 tournament. They're pretty dominant in some of their games, and they're just a good team in general. But Utah State's done well enough against BYU these last few years during the Manny Martins era. I think now they're 1 or 2 games down on them, but they have 2 or 3 wins against them, including one where they were the number 1 team in the country at the time when they beat them. So, and it was just last year that Utah State beat them. It's not like there's this huge monkey on their back with BYU. It's just that's a tough team, and it's going to be a tough environment. And we'll see how these things go. And they're dealing with a lot of injuries. They've got a lot of injured players right now, several players that are out for the season, one who's day-to-day. Mentioned Summer Diamond, who got the second goal that made it 2-0. Was she the one that made it 1-0, or was it the penalty kick that made it? I think it was the penalty kick that made it 2-0. I think. Suddenly, can't remember the order in which these happened, but I think Renee Unaha was named the tournament MVP.
Yep.
And then the Aggies had 3 or 4 players on the all tournament team. You had Utah State sweeping the Player of the Week awards in volleyball. Then you get Brevin Hamblin getting the Defensive Player of the Week. Maybe could have had Tanner Rinker Special Teams Player of the Week, but I think somebody else had a kick return touchdown, so usually that kind of gets you an automatic Special Teams Player of the Week. But, good week for a lot of Aggies there. And just the nature of that soccer game, and I think the support you see from the community, where a lot of times these non-revenue sports can get pushed aside, but you had a lot of people who were at the football game, but were paying more attention to the soccer game. People in the suites half of them were watching the soccer game instead of the football game. In media, in the press box, we were all having the game pulled up during the press conference. I literally had the game going during the press conference. I was keeping an eye.
It wasn't decided.
Mendenhall must have wondered why I was looking at my computer so intently for most of the time, but it's because I was paying more attention to, in a lot of cases, to what was happening on the field during overtime than the press conference of a 51-14 game. And they even showed on the Jumbotron one of the goals from the soccer game that put the Aggies up, in the stadium, for people to see that the soccer team had gone up in the Mountain West title game. So there is fantastic support for the soccer team, and a lot of people really invested in their success.
Yeah, in fact, Bronco talked a little bit about that today in his presser about celebrating team success on different sports at Utah State.
Number one, it's awesome. I had a chance to visit with both those coaches briefly yesterday, and it's just really fun. I've been impressed by the student athletes at Utah State. Their diligence, their work ethic, the cultures of the programs. And so it's fun because we share the weight room. Sometimes we share the team room here. And so there's probably more crossover than I've experienced for quite some time in my career. which is great. The training room downstairs, the athletic training room, the sports share that, and so there's crossover. I think excellence is excellence, and whether it's a male sport, a female sport, an Olympic sport, or a non-Olympic sport, there's qualities, there's habits, there's character traits that clearly are noticeable. And so for Rob and Manny, I think they're doing a great job. Our team loves it. I mean, so they're following online whenever they can. They're watching the games. A lot of their friends are on those teams. And I think there's really a supportive community. So it just kind of brings the institution as well as the athletic department to life even more. And I think it blesses everyone. So again, to the coaches, in fact, also had a chance to talk with Kristen, our gymnastics coach, and what they had done yesterday as well. So they had a great season. And so I'm a fan of all the sports, and I'm a fan of excellence and just young people doing really cool things. So I think it's great.
Yeah, it's what a weekend for Utah State athletics. And with volleyball clinching the regular season title, with still several games to play, just a dominating, really a perfect run so far through conference play for volleyball. Utah State soccer kind of defying a lot of odds and winning the conference tournament in Boise. And now they're headed to the NCAA tournaments. So really exciting weekend for Utah State athletics.
Yeah, and 5338 on the Young Power Sports Logan text line saying, Rob, we trust keeps the Aggies volleyball machine plowing ahead at full power. I'm concerned about what the postseason will bring in regards to Lauren Helgeson. She's clearly the dominant player whenever she's on the floor. She could easily be at another in-state school next year, if not a top 10 program.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but you know what? She's doing great now in an Aggie uniform, so let's celebrate that.
Yeah, there's no reason to get too caught up in what may be with the transfer portal, obviously.
Yeah, but she still has games to play in an Aggie uniform, so let's get excited for that.
Yeah,
she's a great player. And they've had a great run here. Kind of a shaky non-conference schedule. They were testing themselves. They were scheduling some really tough teams. And they struggled through some of that, but they learned a lot of things too. But since then, they've been on a roll, just rolling through conference play.
Yeah, they've had better non-conference slates against schedules as hard as they played this year, but even those teams didn't manage to go undefeated in conference play. Now, the Aggies still haven't done that. They have 4 games left to play, but it's also they've gone through the toughest part of their schedule. So at this point, it's just if they themselves slip up mentally is where they might get a loss there. But for Utah State, it's full speed ahead, full momentum, and it would be spectacular for them to finish off conference play and the conference tournament having never lost to a Mountain West team. That would be absolutely spectacular.
It's one of the other things that was exciting over the weekend that happened. It started on Friday with Utah State men's basketball. Going to the Dallas metro area, headed down to Frisco, Texas, taking on VCU, and one of these important, one of the few quality non-conference games for Utah State men's basketball. They built a nice lead, built an even a healthier lead into the second half, and then watched it disappear. But despite all of that, they made some gutsy plays. Gutted out a win, some key rebounds by Gary Clark and Carson Templin, and the Aggies hold on and beat VCU 80-77. It's really our first opportunity to talk about Utah State men's basketball and their that win over VCU, and a chance for our audience to weigh in on it as well. I know there were a lot of technical issues that made it tough for people to watch how that second half collapse unfolded, but Utah State was able to still pull out the victory and with the solid win over what still expected to be a decent VCU ball club.
Yeah, and I need to go rewatch the game because I didn't actually get to watch a whole lot of it live for technical reasons. Very frustrating. I think we refreshed our page about 12.5 times, if not more, just because of how they just apparently didn't have the bandwidth to broadcast that. I started rewatching it a little bit on Saturday, right before the football game, but then didn't finish it, and then Sunday was kind of my day off. So haven't had a chance to, and then I've been busy all day. I went to 3 different press conferences today. So
had a busy day today.
Yeah, but And I need to rewatch the entire game, but from what I did get to see and from the observations I can make statistically, like that was a good game for Utah State. Obviously, there was about an 8-minute stretch where they were not the better team, but for basically every other stretch, they were the better team. They shot better, they played good defense, and against a team that's going to be good. I think VCU is going to be a good team. I don't know if they're going to be like quad 1 level. They might be on the fringe of being a quad 1, but they're going to be a solid quad 2 at the very least. And so this is a good team that Utah State beat, and a team that Utah State was dominating, again, for a lot of this game, and were it not for a bit of a mental slip up late where I think they just got a little complacent. Were it not for that, they come away with this game with a double-digit win. And even when they blew it, there are so many times where you blow that kind of lead and it goes to overtime and you just let it slip, or where VCU just, or your opponent, but in this case VCU, gets that last-minute shot and they just pull off that win over you. Like, we've seen that happen to plenty of teams. It's happened to Utah State in the last couple of years. Like, that's the kind of game that's so easy to lose once you get into the situation Utah State got itself into. Though when push came to shove and they needed a bucket here or a bucket there to just cling to that lead, they got what they needed. When VCU tied it up at 76 all, Gary Clark finds a way to get his 14th rebound. They get an open shot from NJ Collins, who had one of his few misses on the day overall, but Gary Clark gets the rebound, puts it back up and in. Then they got a bit lucky with VCU missing yet another free throw, but then they get the inbound, and then Collins hits 2 clutch free throws, and that's it. So, it's even with the bad, this is an encouraging win for Utah State. In how well they played on the whole, and then there's just things to tune up here and there.
Yeah, a lot of different performances. Certainly, MJ Collins continues to be on a hot streak with scoring. Gary Clark with another double-double of points and rebounds. Yeah,
Jared Calhoun said Gary Clark wasn't going to average 15 and 8. Well, he's averaging like 12 and 12.
Yeah, so it's not that far off. But then Mason Falslev too, very solid performance for Mason. Again, as we say, almost every game, he affects the game in so many different ways. 18 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 3 steals. But maybe even more impactful, just in different ways, Drake Allen just continues to be playing very solid basketball, distributing and helping his teammates. 9 assists, 6 steals. Crazy how many steals that guy had. And a block to boot. So just a great overall performance for Utah State, getting a win on a neutral site against a quality opponent. Exactly what Utah State needs.
Yeah, and there was some concern, kind of manufactured by me, to be honest, about Mason in the preseason, where he wasn't averaging as many points as maybe we expected him to, where in the exhibitions he had like 8 or 9 points. Then against Westminster he had 9 points. Mind you, in that he played 16 minutes.
Yeah, limited minutes.
So we were seeing Mason Falslev, what we were expecting of him, just in a low volume where he plays 16 minutes. If he double that and double his production with that, he would have had 18, 10, and 8. 10 rebounds, 8 assists. But when finally put into a situation where the Aggies needed him and he played, decent volume minutes, of course, decent volume minutes still only being 26. He had about 5 or 6 minutes cut short because of foul trouble, but still gets 18 points. We saw the Mason Falslev we were expecting to see. He came out and played, had those 4 rebounds and assists, the 3 steals, as you mentioned. So obviously, fantastic stuff from Mason Falslev there, and again, Drake Allen as well, where I think he's had at least 8 assists in all of the exhibitions and 2 regular season games, and I think he's had exactly 9 assists in 3 of them. This is a guy who's dishing the ball out to everyone. He's doing a fantastic job. He's a little high on turnovers. There's 1 or too many dumb passes he's putting out there because he's averaging 4 or 5 turnovers in all of this. But this is a guy who is making a big impact for the team offensively and then defensively as well, where he's being disruptive. He's using, again, he's like a 6'4", 6'5" point guard, and he's using all of that to, instead of being the shortest guy on the court like a lot of point guards are, he's playing with the length of a wing and using that to be disruptive in that sense. So a lot of good stuff from him. And then, with MJ Collins, he should have been Mountain West Player of the Week. Should have been. They gave it to some Colorado State guy who put up stats against really bad teams. MJ Collins put up 22 points against one of the better mid-major opponents anyone in the Mountain West is going to face.
Yeah.
And hit clutch buckets. He scored 14 points in the first half, went a little quiet, but then the Aggies needed points, and they went to MJ Collins, and he got them in some crucial points, including the 2 free throws that put the Aggies up by 3 to ensure that the worst that could happen in those 3 seconds where VCU had the inbound ball, the worst that could happen there is you go to overtime. So fantastic stuff there.
In their game against Westminster, and again, I get it, it's Westminster. But Utah State put up 37 3-point attempts. Against VCU, only 13.
Yeah, well, and it's a take what the defense gives you kind of thing. Like I say that, like with Westminster, you look at Utah State's 3 games against them in the last 3 years, which also they're only 3 games against them. But with 3 different coaches, 3 different offensive systems, they've averaged 19 made threes. In one, they set the team record of 21. In one of them, I think they made 18. This year, they made 19 against them. Westminster allows a lot of threes to be taken against them because that's what their defense gives Utah State, and so that's what they do. And Coach Calhoun talked about that after the game. He was like, that's what Westminster let us do, so we're going to shoot them out of it. And what do you know? They shot him out the door with those 3-pointers. VCU, they weren't giving them that. So Utah State went inside. What does Utah State do inside? They should have done better on their layups. They only shot 50% at the rim, but still good enough getting points in the paint. They get 44 points in the paint, doing pretty solidly there. And, get to the free throw line. They didn't get to the free throw line against Westminster, partly because they were shooting so many threes. Why go into a packed paint when that's what the defense is playing? But when the defense opens the door a little bit for them to go into the paint and get some fouls, they shoot 26 free throws and attempt, 34 shots at the rim. So it shows that Utah State has more than one way. Like if you try and take away the 3-point line, they're going to go inside against you. If you give them the 3-point line, they're going to shoot you out of it. And that's a mark of a good defense, the ability to do multiple things like that.
Yeah, that's true. And recognize how to make an adjustment based on what your opponent's going to throw at you. We didn't see Adeline Ellerman, but we saw Zach Keller in his place.
They don't play the same position.
No, I guess they don't really. But we didn't see Zach Keller in the exhibition game. Well,
he was injured.
The regular season exhibition game, where he would have been available if necessary.
Yeah.
But we did get to see him finally in a regular season game. And what are some of the things that you saw from him?
Well, it was tough because...
Well, theoretically speaking, in the few times you did see him.
Rough shooting day, and that worries me a little bit just because his career shooting numbers aren't great, but my assumption there was just such low volume. If you have low volume for so many players, you're going to shoot bad if you shoot only 1 or 2 times. Or you shoot like perfect from the field, like you shoot 1 3-pointer and you make it, or you shoot 3 shots and you make 2 of them, your field goal percentage is at 66%. But for Zach Keller, he's never really gotten into a rhythm on offense, and been hoping that now that he's going to get to play a little more, he played 22 minutes. You can get into a bit of a rhythm, but he shot 1 for 6. But even with that, you can tell that he's making a positive impact. He was +6, which actually, outside of Gary Clark, who, my goodness, was +16, Zach Keller was on the court during the Aggies' best stretch. Heck, in the first half, he was +13, and he was 0 on his field goals. And he was only on the court for 8 minutes, and the Aggies were plus 13 when he was on the court. Now, one game plus minus is not something you should be setting in stone as like a big analysis, but there is something there with Zach Keller where defensive-wise, boxing out, and once you get his offense in there, this is a guy who's going to be able to make a really solid impact because he'll be able to stretch the floor. And then his ability in the pick and roll, like he had a layup that he missed where it's like on film, that was a shot that Zach Keller hit every time, and he missed it against VCU. Just the soft touch layup on the pick and roll in traffic. He normally made that, and he just missed it. So it's just kind of weird there where Zach Keller is better offensively than he showed, but he did show some good things in rebounding, boxing out, and just general impact on the game. And so he's going to add to the Big Iron group. And I think you're going to see him and you're going to see Zach Keller paired with the other bigs where like your three centers are Gary Clark, Carson Templin, and Zach Keller. But because of some of the versatility those guys have, they can all play with each other to a degree. So, and you saw that kind of for the first time, the Aggies went with these two big lineups where Gary Clark was playing power forward, and it works because those lineups have enough versatility that you can make it work.
We got more to discuss and more of your texts that are coming through. We'll get to those on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line. And if you want to weigh in, you can text us at 435-339-0321. A lot more coming up next on the Full Court Press.
Les Olson IT's structured cabling is second to none. Tired of old and inefficient cabling? Have an upgrade or remodel planned? Building a new network from the ground up? We offer the very best in low-voltage cabling installation, including data, phone, fiber optic, and more. Ask us how to get your free consultation today.
Les Olson IT.
Looking for a shed that's built to last? At Top Shed, we're making sheds great again. Crafted with premium materials right here in northern Utah, our custom sheds are built strong for the toughest conditions, and we'll even come built on-site in towns like Logan, Tremont, and Preston, Malad. With late summer and fall here, now is the perfect time to get your shed designed, built, and delivered for year-round use. Top Shed, making sheds great again. Call 435-760-7766 or visit topshedusa.com.
At Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning, now's the time to feel the love and the savings. With current tax credits and government rebates, save up to 40 and 50% on new heating and cooling systems. From residential tune-ups to commercial HVAC projects, Mountain Valley has you covered. Rebates and credits end at the end of this year. Take advantage today. Go to mtnvalleyhvac.com and start saving while you feel the love.
Looking for a luxurious local space to host your next gathering? The Hive Event Center in downtown Logan brings modern elegance to your wedding, private party, or business event. Your guests will be amazed at the glamorous design, and you'll benefit from the advanced tech included in every rental, from DIY parties to full-service packages. 255 South Main in Logan behind Beehive Grill. Luxury lives here. The Hive is your place to gather.
Luxury lives here. Luxury lives here. The Hive.
See us online at thehivelogan.com.
Old McDarrell has a farm, an appliance farm. With down-home country prices and big city selection. E-I-E-I-O. When you're looking for a friendly spot to drive a little and save a lot, hey, Old McDarrell has a farm, an appliance farm. Darrell's Appliance. No overhead, but lots of country charm. See Darrell's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
For 80 years, West Motor Company has been helping Cache Valley drive home in a vehicle they love. And around here, people know Ford and Ram cost less in Preston. Right now, you could save over $10,000 off a brand new Ram heavy-duty Bighorn, or over $12,000 off Dodge Charger RT, and over $5,000 off Jeep Grand Cherokee. Say it with me. Ford and Ram cost less in Preston. Always have, always will. West Motor Company, 80 years strong and still driven to serve you.
The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
At Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning, now is the time to feel the love and the savings. They have current tax credits and government rebates where you can save up to 40 and 50% on new heating and cooling systems. Call now. Weather's getting cooler. You want to make sure you've got the right heating system running right. Rebates end this year, so call now. 435-557-4181. Mountain Valley Heating and Air. 435-557-4181.
Getting real quick to the Young Power Sports Logan text line. We're going to get into some more football and basketball, but 8739 asking if we talked about Green Canyon and Ridgeline yet. We have not. We will. That's on the schedule.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming up in the next segment, so stay tuned. We'll talk about local high school football and the success of a spoiler alert, Green Canyon and Ridgeline. So we'll talk about those. But then we have a couple other texts. 5662, I believe. Urban Edge Network was over their skis. Terrible product. Was pleased with the Aggies' effort and talent most of the game. The heart attack at the end was unnecessary. Aggies will prove they're better than the Utes this Wednesday and beat Weber State by double digits in regulation. Yeah, the Wildcats, and we'll get into that preview more tomorrow. I had a chance to talk with Jared Calhoun today along with Gary Clark, previewing this Weber State game. So we'll jump into that. But yeah, Weber State giving Utah a bigger scare than VCU gave the Aggies, taking them to overtime, where Utah needed a three-pointer, just about buzzer-beating three-pointer, I think. I was following that game, so I don't think I watched the key moment. But yeah, Utah forcing overtime at home just to beat Weber State. And then 9315 saying, I think Utah State just took the foot off the pedal at last of the game. I'm pretty sure the team learned their lesson. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that do that and they don't learn their lesson. I think Coach Calhoun is going to try and make them learn their lesson. But I know Coach Calhoun is very familiar with how failure can be a teacher. And I think there's areas where Coach Calhoun wants them to, he doesn't want them to lose, but he wants them to get the message of, hey, you got to be vigilant all the time. And unfortunately, losing tends to be the best teacher of that.
Yeah.
How to be vigilant. It's unfortunate that that's usually the only way we can, as humans, because I'm obviously included in this, where success makes you overlook your own weaknesses. And Coach Calhoun doesn't want his team to be overlooking their own weaknesses. Their own weaknesses in sometimes they foul a bit too much on defense with some of their aggressive play. They turn the ball over too much. They have such a spectacular offense, but they can turn the ball over too much. And he's been emphasizing so much, if we didn't stop throwing the ball to the other team, their defense would be high level. They'd be holding VCU and some of these other teams into the 60s if they weren't turning the ball over so much. And we'll see how well he gets through to these guys about not turning the ball over. You'll hear tomorrow a little bit about how he enforces that. A little bit of extra exercise for them when they turn the ball over too much. But yeah, Utah State needs to make sure they learn from winning, or they're going to learn from losing.
Yeah, ideal situation is that you win, but it's in such a way that everybody knows what they need to work on, and nobody's casual about their next time that they're on the court together in practice.
Yeah, if you're going to have a late game collapse, you'd rather win it than lose it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna blow an 18-point lead, you'd rather have it be the headline be you blew an 18-point lead, but you won, rather than Aggies lose after holding an 18-point lead with 11 minutes to go.
Right. A couple of the games around the Mountain West Conference that are interesting that kind of stood out on that same night. It was a rough week for a number of schools in the Mountain West last week. Certainly the biggest headline was Boise State and their embarrassment against Hawaii Pacific. But there were a couple other teams who lost games against opponents that you wouldn't think that they should lose to them. Grand Canyon was another one of those, losing to Youngstown State, Coach Calhoun's former stomping grounds, after a lot of people thinking Grand Canyon would come in and be at or near the top of the Mountain West. Kind of a rough start to the season for the Antelopes.
Well, Grand Canyon was thinking they were all that in a bag of chips. and talking smack about being better than the Pac-12, which, mind you, they have a 500 record against Pac-12 schools, so like maybe don't talk that much smack. Although weirdly enough, they're like 4-1 against San Diego State.
That is
all
weird.
time. But that means they're 1-4 against everyone else in the future Pac-12. Mind you, they just haven't played most anyone, except for exhibitions. Apparently, I learned Utah State had played Grand Canyon in exhibitions once upon a time. So
interesting.
It hadn't been at least so the official results. They're 500, but yeah, they got humbled where they're going to have to learn that even though it was Youngstown State, they're like Grand Canyon lost to teams of Youngstown State's caliber last year in the WAC. Like they didn't go undefeated in the WAC. And so they're going to be playing even tougher teams in the Mountain West. It's why I've kind of been the chief hater of Grand Canyon's potential year one success, because precedent shows it's hard to make that jump and be successful early on. Utah State has had the best record of any first-year Mountain West team, and they still went sub 500.
It was a busy day in the conference on Saturday. A couple teams got back on track. Boise State beating up on Utah Valley, 101-77. Utah Valley should be a decent team, so that was a big statement game for the Broncos. But how about Wyoming, undefeated so far, beating Cal State Fullerton by 10. Fresno State beating Long Beach 82-62. And then Nevada barely squeaking by, but beating Pacific 78-77. Among a lot of other games that took place. It was a very busy schedule for the Mountain West on Saturday.
Yeah, so with Boise State, that was one where I was not surprised that Boise State put their best foot forward against Utah Valley. They were up 9 at halftime, 11 at halftime. Like that game was close-ish for some of the first half. I think Boise State held a pretty solid lead. I wasn't watching it. I was kind of following the box score, especially because there's two former Aggies on Utah Valley, Isaac Davis and Braden Housley, who are both starting for the Wolverines. They're not their star players, but they're both starters for the team. But Boise State just came off of their most embarrassing loss. If you talk about learning from losing, Boise State had a whole week to be hanging their heads about just being the absolute laughing stocks of the Mountain West and of Division I basketball. Like you lost to a Division II team, guys, at home. You had 10,000 fans watching you do it. So they went out there, and Utah Valley were the very unfortunate recipients of what may be the most motivated Boise State team we'll ever see. And they proved that, hey, look, this is a good Boise State team. Don't expect that, the team that lost to Hawaii Pacific to be the same Boise State team you see the rest of the season. So, yeah, it was not that surprising that Boise State had a really good bounce back like that.
No, yeah, they weren't the only ones who had the bounce back. Fresno State lost to SC Upstate earlier, but then they bounced back and had that 20-point win over Long Beach. UNLV, they lost earlier last week to UT Martin. They rebounded with a big 101-69 win over Chattanooga. So a lot of those teams who had embarrassing losses last week, they had rebound games and took care of business against their opponents.
Yeah, but then, you had Nevada, who almost had the embarrassing loss. Mind you, I don't think Pacific's that low, are they? And they're like 146 in Ken Palm. So, it wouldn't have been nearly as embarrassing, but still, that's a game where Nevada maybe should have won by a few extra points. But, it's not like Nevada and Pacific are that far apart in the rankings. Heck, where's actually Nevada in Ken Palm? Actually, probably should have double-checked, make sure they are actually, they're 92. They are higher ranked, but it's not a massive gap there. So, they avoided the loss. That was at home, right? I think they were at home.
Yes, that was at Nevada.
So, overall good. New Mexico continues to be fantastic on defense, holding UT Arlington to 19 points in the first half. They allowed 37 in the second half, but their two games, not the most spectacular strength of schedule in the world, but 54 points in their first game allowed, 56 in their second game allowed. Eric Olin's got a good defensive squad there.
Yeah.
So the Mountain West, despite some embarrassing headlining losses, there's some overall things to be excited about. And San Diego State's they keep rolling. They've looked fantastic in every one of their games so far.
Yeah. One conference contest tonight, that's Grand Canyon hosting Northern Illinois. Grand Canyon favored by 22.5 in that one tonight in Phoenix.
Yeah, Northern Illinois not a fantastic basketball. Of course, where are they going for their non-football sports now that they're leaving the MAC? Are they going to like the Ohio Valley or something?
They might. That's a good question.
I have to double check. I can't remember.
Yeah. So anyway, interesting weekend through the Mountain West Conference for basketball, and as it comes to football, looking at the weekend that was for the conference, certainly looking at what happened with the Aggies, got that big dominant win over Nevada, but not too many other games that were too surprising. Well, I should take that back. There's one that was very surprising, and that was what Hawaii did to San Diego State, 38-6. But also Air Force getting the win over San Jose in San Jose, 26-16. UNLV running away from Colorado State. That wasn't very surprising, but that Hawaii game against the Aztecs, that pretty much effectively eliminates San Diego State from being in contention for the college football playoff. Yeah,
it does. Where they'd been having a pretty darn good run and would have started getting some. Were they getting votes in the AP poll, or I don't know if
they were getting some attention, yeah.
There was a chance they could have snuck into the back end of the college football playoff rankings, which they just had the first one of those this week, if I recall.
Yeah, last Tuesday.
So those are finally starting to come out. But yeah, that just absolutely floored me. Like I thought San Diego State was just the best team in the conference, but maybe just something about traveling to Hawaii. They just scheduled a home and home with Hawaii down the road.
Yeah.
So maybe San Diego State should be worried about that, the way they played at Hawaii, where that just, I thought San Diego State had largely gotten over some of their offensive struggles. They weren't like an elite offense, but they'd been playing well enough on offense, combined with just having the best defense in the conference, really without question. But Hawaii made that defense look very mortal in that, where they had 24 first half points. Then they had another 14 in the third quarter and got to cruise to the end of the game. And Hawaii's defense showed up where they pitched a shutout in the second half.
It didn't allow them into the end zone at all. They only got two first half field goals. So, yeah, the Hawaii team, Utah State can attest. That's a solid program that's hard to beat, especially on their field.
Yeah, so that really threw a wrench into the Mountain West standings, where if Hawaii takes that loss, they're out of it. Maybe not mathematically, but they would pretty much effectively be out of it, and you'd be really gearing up for San Diego State against Boise State either this week or in the next couple of weeks. I forget exactly when they play each other. But now Hawaii's still in it. San Diego State's still up there at the top, and I think them and Boise State are still going to be that marquee matchup. But that's a very a big game in terms of impact on the late season standings. So we're at 3 games to go, and you could have about 15 different combinations of 5 teams end up in the Mountain West title game. And so the Mountain West has become an exciting league. And I know Bronco Mendenhall's talked about parity, and maybe you kind of roll your eyes. Is there really that much parity in the Mountain West?
Oh, well, yeah, very much.
There is. Yeah, maybe I didn't believe Bronco before, but sure believe him now.
San Diego State and Boise State face each other this Saturday, 8:30 on CBS Sports Network.
So it's this week.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one to keep an eye on, because that's going to be determining who's at the top of that. Where again, it's the 2 1-loss teams, and that team will take the. They'll have the inside track for hosting the Mountain West title game.
Yeah, there's it's a lot. Yeah, these next few weeks very, very critical, and there's a lot of teams who could still believe that they're in it. They're not really eliminated yet. So determining who those 2 teams will be in the conference title game, there's a lot of teams who believe they still have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Utah State still has a chance mathematically.
Right. Utah State should absolutely be one of those teams that still thinks that they're in the hunt, because it's going to be tough, but they're not eliminated from contention.
And you could probably pick out a specific scenario where the Aggies host the Mountain West championship game. That'd probably be a fairly unlikely scenario, although not stupid unlikely.
No, if they win out, they could.
Yeah, if they won out, and if Boise wins this game against San Diego State, I don't know if anything else. I think Hawaii would have to lose another game, but Aggies would control about 60% of their own destiny to hosting the Mountain West Championship game, which is kind of an absurd thing. I don't think it's going to happen. But the fact that you can still kind of say that after some of these rough weeks for Utah State, that speaks to, one, how crazy the Mountain West has been, and two, Utah State's managed to be a little resilient here.
We're going to take a timeout here in the Full Court Press. If you want to weigh in, we always love to hear from you on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 435-339-0321. And coming up on the other side of this timeout, we'll talk some high school football. I've got a couple of Region 11 teams still in the hunt. In fact, there's another school over the hill over in Rich County that's in the title hunt as well. So might as well mention them too while we're at it. And West Side, they're still alive and active in the Idaho playoff picture.
They usually always are.
So we'll discuss all that coming up next on the Full Court Press.
Looking for comfort and convenience in Logan? Stay at the Bomb Motel for just $79 when you mention Aggie 79. Just minutes from USU. Perfect for football games, commencements, campus events, and more. Enjoy your stay without the hassle. Your sure stay Bomb Motel offers cozy beds, free continental breakfasts, and a seasonal outdoor pool. True comfort and value. $79 rooms with Aggie 79. The Bomb Motel. Call 435-752-5220. That's 752-5220 today.
When the snow starts flying, be sure your tires are ready. At Express Tire, they work with all vehicles and all tire sizes with safety and comfort a priority. As a Point S Tire team member, you're backed by a nationwide warranty that includes roadside protection. No appointment needed. Just stop in and they'll get your tires winter ready. 3200 North Main.
Express Tire, tires for less.
Express Auto, where tires and service come together.
Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning and Advanced Fireplace and Stove want to help local families this year with a food drive. Drop your canned foods off at the Advanced Fireplace and Stove showroom across from DI or hand them to one of their technicians when they come to your home for a repair. The Advanced team will match all contributions and offer the first month free when joining the Advanced Comfort Club. Find out more at advancedheating-ac.com. Donate to the Advanced Canned Food Drive for local families.
It's that first kiss, that moment in time.
Over the last few years, we have expanded the store to create one of the largest engagement selections in northern Utah. In addition to our goldsmith, we now have a design team that creates, casts, and brings to life your one-of-a-kind ring right here in our store, all for one common goal, to make it special for you. If you haven't been in yet, come see what makes us so special.
Jarrett's fine jewelry. Make it special. Make it Jarrett's.
When grid failures and severe weather cause power outages, your business might take a hit, or at home, you could lose your refrigerated food storage. Generac Standby Power Solutions help ensure an uninterrupted power supply. Generac is the #1 brand of standby generators. Get yours today from Golden Spike Electric, your trusted source for safety and security. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
Let Elements Restaurant take the work out of your Thanksgiving feast. Enjoy a full course, chef-prepared holiday dinner, perfectly roasted turkey with sage gravy, cranberry sauce, garlic mashed potatoes, whipped sweet potatoes, traditional stuffing, green beans, and your choice of pumpkin pie, apple galette, or pecan pie. All pre-cooked and ready to serve. Available for pickup the Wednesday before Thanksgiving from 3 p.m. to 7:50 p.m. Relax and enjoy a gourmet Thanksgiving at home. Pre-order today. Call Elements Restaurant 750-5171. That's 750-5171. Because great holidays start with great food.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
It's cold. It gets cold at night, and it means winter is on its way. So get ready for it with all the right pricing available now on all 2025 Ski-Doo and Polaris snowmobiles at Young Power Sports Logan. They're ready for winter. You can get up to $6,000 off. Don't forget the Young Power Sports offers free pickup and drop off for service, plus free preseason checks on all snowmobiles just south of Logan. Young Power Sports Logan, where your winter adventure begins.
You know what was fun this weekend, Eric? There was a fight in a football game.
Oh.
In the SWAC, Grambling State and Bethune-Cookman, I think. I'm not sure actually how to pronounce that. Got into a big fight, and there was $65,000 worth of fines handed out. 27 players combined from both teams getting suspended, some of them for multiple games. I think one player got suspended the rest of the season. So
wow.
But also,
it's pretty serious skirmish.
Yeah, a lot. There's a video of it, and they're duking it out. But speaking of fun, high school football. We had 2 victories by local Cache Valley teams. 2 other local teams, I think technically in Cache Valley geographically. I know we don't always focus on them as much, are also in their respective playoff hunts. But Green Canyon and Ridgeline both getting wins. Ridgeline by a fairly expected margin. They absolutely took care of Park City.
49-3.
Yeah, 49-3. Park City's got a pretty good kicker, so they're just about, they get into inside the 40, and they're just about in field goal range, at least to try. But it was Green Canyon who absolutely made a thriller of their game. And heck, while we were watching Utah State VCU and trying to watch, but then Stockton, who's the play-by-play voice of Green Canyon typically, of course, couldn't make, he was doing Aggie game day for us. Couldn't make it down to Skyline to call that game over the radio, but we still had it here, or we had it on our family of radio stations, but they pulled out a thriller of a game.
Yeah, Green Canyon, to their credit, they were playing from ahead pretty much most of this game, and Skyline kept it close, kept it interesting, but the Green Canyon was always playing from ahead. But then coming down to the final seconds of the game, Skyline scores. They make it 28-26. They have an opportunity to go for 2. And let's pick it up at that point on the broadcast. It was Ryan Lawrenson and Matt Adams on the call who were filling in for us. And this is how this game concluded in Salt Lake City for the number 14 Green Canyon Wolves at number 11 Skyline on Friday night.
You could not ask for a better game in 4A football than this one right here. Absolutely beautiful stuff from Skyline to bring this game closer to overtime. 3.1 to play, down by 2. They have to go for 2 here.
Yeah, you've got just a few seconds left. Green Canyon's really not going to have anything that they're going to be able to go for. Kachi has been able to run the ball in these situations. Green Canyon knows that, but Kachi's brother, the big number 44, Green Canyon coming down to call timeout. They're going to call timeout to try and see now what Skyline lined up in and what they're going to do. That was a risky play for Skyline. If Kachi had been tackled in the field of play, the game would have been over. He had to get into the end zone on that rush, able to do it close, but he was definitely in.
Skyline really standing tall right now. Oh man, this is definitely my game of the night. I don't care what classification you're in. This is hands down the best game in the state tonight.
Yeah, what a great atmosphere to be a part of. Skyline fans been having fun. You've got lights that flicker on and off. You've got fireworks going off when people score. You've got a game that has come down to the last play of the game. You've got to go for 2 to be able to tie it up. They move the ball over to the right hash, so Brown's going to have a lot of space over on the top, on the left. We'll see if they try to go back to that slant. I'd expect Kachi to run it again because it's worked 4 times for 4 touchdowns, but this is the play.
Couple of backers. Kachi keeps it. He's going to get brought down outside. That's going to be the game. Skyline can't convert on the 2-point conversion. 26-28 with 3.1 remaining.
So Skyline had the opportunity to go for 2. They had to go for 2 to get it to overtime. Unable to convert. That Green Canyon defense stands up tall once again. And Green Canyon, for the second straight week, goes on the road as the lower-seeded team, pulls off the upset to stay alive. We'll see if they can keep it going because now they're in the semifinals. They will face number 2 Crimson Cliffs on Friday.
Yeah, they get to go to Rice-Eccles Stadium for that big matchup there. And yeah, Green Canyon, didn't they do this a few years ago as football team?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Of course, they also had, I think, a boys soccer one where they think they won the championship as like a 6th seed. So like, Green Canyon knows how to be an underdog and make these playoff runs. So fantastic stuff. And yeah, they had Xavier Kachi where he had 133 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown. But he ran it in from 5 yards, 4 yards, and 2 yards. They went to the old bread and butter for the 2-point conversion. And Green Canyon, typically stout defense, stands up as it typically does.
Unfortunately, Box Elder, they were unable to knock off Springville. It was a close one for them, but they lose 28-21 in the 5A quarterfinals. But Rich, number 1 in 8-player football, beating up on Whitehorse 50-8. So they play in the 8-player championship game, which will be on Saturday. That'll be played at Zions Bank Stadium. So the semifinals was down at SUU, and the championship will be held at Zions Bank Stadium in the Salt Lake Valley. And the West Side in Idaho beating up on West Jefferson 37-14 to advance in the 3A quarterfinals. So a lot of fun. Congratulations to our local high school football teams. We'll have live play-by-play on our local radio stations for Ridgeline and Green Canyon. Ridgeline will play on Thursday. That'll be on 104.5 The Ranch. And Green Canyon will play on Friday. We'll have that on 100.9 Light FM. Quick timeouts and some final thoughts here on the Full Court Press.
Hi, this is Brooke Stevenson.
Ty Smith.
And David Castor with Adams Wealth Advisors. We're truly honored to be named Best of Northern Utah Gold winner for the Best Financial Planner. This community means everything to us, and we're grateful for every customer who made this possible. Thank you for your trust.
Advisory services offered through Adams Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. For important disclosures and more information, visit adamswealthadvisors.com. That's adamswealthadvisors.com.
Winter's here and that old car sitting in your driveway isn't getting any warmer. Turn that frozen junker into cold hard cash with DD Auto and Salvage in Logan. It's never too cold, too wet, or too late to clean up and cash out. DD Auto and Salvage makes it quick and easy. They'll even pick it up for you. Get the most money possible for your junk vehicle or scrap metal and earn a little extra holiday cash while you're at it. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204. And let DD Auto and Salvage pay you today. DD Auto and Salvage. Cold cars turned into hot cash.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Are you worried about the high Medicare supplement premiums or wondering what your prescription costs will be next year? There are so many Medicare options and it can feel overwhelming. That's why I'm here to help guide you through every choice. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493 to talk to a licensed local agent. No pressure, no cost, just clear personal advice you can trust. Don't wait. Changes must be made by December 7th. Call 752-9493 today.
If you're thinking about getting engaged this holiday season, S.E. Needham Jewelers is the place to shop for your diamond engagement ring. S.E. Needham's has the largest selection of wedding rings in the area, including hundreds of styles in platinum, white gold, and yellow gold. We import diamonds direct from Antwerp, Belgium, which enables us to guarantee the best price on diamonds. We also offer the most complete warranty and services of any store in the state. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
This is my challenge to any mattress dealer in the country. Beat my price. I'm Ryan at My Mattress, and we have the best brands in the country, and we have the best prices in the country. Purple, Tempur-Pedic, Sealy Posturepedic, and Stearns & Foster. I challenge any mattress dealer in Logan, Utah, online or brick and mortar, anywhere in the country to take me up on my challenge. Beat my price. Come in today for the best prices in the country. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally? Only at My Mattress.
Following the local teams, it's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. Busy weekend with our local high schools doing well. Utah State doing well.
It's going to be busier this next Friday, Saturday. Because, we got Thursday night high school football at Rice Eccles. Then same thing Friday night. Then Saturday, you got the Triple Crown.
Yeah, that's true.
Where you've got women's basketball, men's basketball, literal back-to-back in the Spectrum, doubleheader. And then you got football. The only thing that would make it more crazy is if that was also at home. But that one's on the road at UNLV. And I'm going to be covering all three of those games on Saturday. I will be all day Saturday. It's going to be probably the craziest Saturday of my sports career.
Yes.
Almost as crazy as when I had to cover the girls soccer. I say had to cover, but got to cover the girls soccer championship and then also the Bear River playoff game.
Oh, that's true.
That was a ride. I don't think I had a voice at the end of the day.
It was a long day for you. Things that maybe aren't going that great. Utah Jazz.
You got to bring it down.
Yeah. They're playing.
Utah Mammoth, too, are also not playing well suddenly after an 8-game win streak.
They
like,
were
what the heck, guys?
so hot, and all of a sudden they've cooled off and allowing opponents to score a lot on them. So they need some help in the net.
Do we need to, sacrifice Tusky now? Where, his appearance brought on an 8-game win streak. Do we now need a blood sacrifice?
Maybe just shave off one of his tusks and see if that helps.
Are his tusks furry?
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't been that close to Tusky yet to
Are you
confirm.
sure?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to a hockey game in December finally. After a year and a half of these guys being around, I'm finally going to go to a Utah Mammoth game.
Jazz do host the Timberwolves tonight. We'll have that here on The Fan later on this evening. Jazz
they just played the Timberwolves,
blown out by Minnesota on that ugly, weird green court that they had in the
Timberwolves should
NBA
be
Cup.
banned from basketball for having that court.
Their faces were glowing because of the reflection off of the court. This green sick glow of the players as they're running around playing basketball.
It is the most genuinely baffling thing to see that, because we live in a world full of some of the I just see some of the most creative designs from graphic artists and the things that people can do and do quickly because of the tools that, used to be a create art. You have to spend a month chiseling out this, magnificent statue out of marble or, days slaving away with a painting. But with the tools, you can create these amazing works of art and graphic design. And that thing
we still come up with monstrosities.
Was proposed and approved by a lot of people. The number of people that kind of crap has to go through to get approved at Minnesota and then the NBA, the fact that crap gets through without people being excuse me? That is the thing that just makes me wonder, should I just apply to be a graphic designer at the NBA? Have they just hired people off the street?
And somebody got paid for that.
Yeah. My goodness, that is an embarrassment and an insult to, again, the frankly superbly talented graphic artists who are living and breathing on God's green earth. You just need to employ them.
It's we fired the graphic artist because we thought the intern could do it cheaper, and we're just going to go with that.
Or AI created. It's come on, people. People can design cool stuff. I see it every day. Hire them.
Pre-game at 6:50, tip-off at 7 here on The Fan later on this evening with David Locke on the call. Utah Jazz without Walker Kessler for the rest of the year. So we'll see how they continue to adapt. But that's going to do it for us tonight on the Full Court Press. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for the participation on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line as well. Have a great night, everybody.
You asked, begged, and even pleaded, and the heavens heard you. KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.